A Galapagos tortoise can live 200 years. A mouse gets maybe 3. The difference was hiding inside a single cell. Inside nearly every cell of your body, a counter is quietly ticking down. When it hits 0, that cell can never divide again. That countdown is just one of the reasons we age. Scientists have now cataloged 12 of them, and they interlock like gears. In 2013, a landmark paper named 9 hallmarks of aging. By 2023, the list had grown to 12. Think of them as 12 ways a body slowly loses the fight to keep itself new. We will walk through the big ones. But start with that counter, because it explains the tortoise. Its cells can divide about 110 times. A mouse? Just 15. The more times a creature's cells can divide, the longer it tends to live. Your cells land somewhere in between those two. So what is actually counting? The answer sits at the very tips of your chromosomes, in a structure most people have never heard of. Picture your DNA as long shoelaces. The plastic tips that stop them fraying are real, and biology has its own version of them. They are called telomeres, and every single time your cell divides, they get a little shorter. This is where aging truly begins. Telomeres are protective caps on the ends of every chromosome. Their job is simple: keep your genetic code from unraveling or sticking together. But there is a catch. Each time a cell copies itself, it cannot quite copy the very end, so the cap shortens. Every division trims roughly 50 to 100 building blocks off the tip. Slowly, over a lifetime, that protective cap wears down. When telomeres get critically short, the cell hits a wall. It stops dividing for good. Scientists call this the Hayflick limit. In 1961, Leonard Hayflick made a discovery that shocked biology. Human cells were not immortal. They divide only 40 to 60 times. And there is the tortoise answer. Its cells divide around 110 times. A mouse burns through 15. The cap length tracks lifespan. This is why you cannot simply live forever by being careful. Part of the clock is built into the architecture of your cells. Now, you might think a cell that stops dividing simply retires quietly, sits down, stays out of the way, causes no trouble. That is exactly what scientists assumed for decades. They were wrong. Some of these cells do something far stranger and far more dangerous. Instead of dying, they linger. They refuse to leave. Biologists gave them a name that sounds like horror fiction: zombie cells. A zombie cell, properly called a senescent cell, has stopped dividing but will not die. It just sits in your tissue, active and loud. The problem is what it leaks. Senescent cells pump out a stream of inflammatory signals, like a broken sprinkler that will not shut off. Those signals irritate healthy neighbors and can turn them senescent too. One zombie cell slowly poisons the cells around it. That is the danger. As you age, these cells pile up in joints, skin, arteries, and organs. The background hum of inflammation rises year after year. So here is an obvious question. If zombie cells cause harm, what happens if we simply clear them out of the body? Scientists built exactly that, a class of drugs called senolytics, designed to hunt down senescent cells and flush them away. In trials from Unity Biotechnology and the Mayo Clinic, clearing these cells improved painful knee arthritis in real patients. Early data hint at something bigger. After senolytics, some markers of biological age actually ticked downward. The clock, briefly, seemed to run backward. So why are we not all cured? Because clearing zombie cells fixes one hallmark out of 12. The others keep grinding away. And 2 of those others are happening deep inside the cell right now, in the tiny engines that keep you alive. Inside almost every cell sit mitochondria, your microscopic power plants. They turn food and oxygen into the energy that runs your entire body. With age, these power plants get damaged and sputter. They produce less energy and leak more waste, like an old engine burning oil. Tissues that need the most energy feel it first. Your heart, your muscles, and the hungriest organ of all, your brain. Normally, your body would just replace worn-out cells with fresh ones. That is the job of stem cells, your built-in repair crew. Stem cells age too. Over time, they grow exhausted and sluggish, showing up to fewer repairs. Wounds heal slower, tissues thin and weaken. Now watch how these failures feed each other. Weak power plants stress cells. Stressed cells turn senescent. Zombie cells inflame the tissue further. That inflammation damages more power plants, which creates more zombie cells. Aging is not a straight line. It is a spiral that feeds itself. Chasing one cause never delivers a cure. Fix one thread, and the others keep pulling back. But something deeper is going on here. For years, scientists pictured aging as simple wear and tear. Parts break down, damage piles up. The machine slowly grinds to a halt. But in 2026, a growing group of researchers argued that picture is incomplete. Aging may not be mainly about damage at all. Their idea is subtle but powerful. Your body is not a pile of parts. It is an orchestra. Thousands of systems playing in time. Metabolism, immunity, your power plants, even the trillions of microbes in your gut, all coordinated, all keeping rhythm with one another. In this view, aging is what happens when the orchestra loses its conductor. The players are fine. The coordination between them falls apart. This finally answers our earlier question. We cannot just delete aging with one drug because no single part is the problem. The timing is. When systems drift out of sync, small problems cascade. The immune system misfires. Repair signals arrive late. Inflammation spreads where it should not. It reframes the whole goal. Maybe the aim is not to replace every worn part, but to keep your systems talking to each other. And here is the part that matters for you. Some of that coordination is not fixed by your genes. Your daily choices tune it. One lever appears again and again in the research: how and how often you eat. It speaks to your cell's oldest survival system. Across species, periods of eating less and fasting longer trigger a repair and recycle mode inside cells tied to the nutrient-sensing hallmark of aging. It is not a fountain of youth. But it is a real dial, one you turn a few times every single day without noticing. So return to that counter ticking inside your cells, the one we opened with. You now know it is not the whole story. Telomeres set a limit. Zombie cells stir up trouble. Power plants fade, repair crews tire, and the whole orchestra slowly drifts out of tune. No single one of these is aging. Aging is all of them at once, tangled together, each pulling the others along in that spiral. That tangle is also the reason for hope. Every hallmark we understand becomes a place to intervene, a lever we may one day pull. A century ago, we did not know any of this. 20 years ago, most of these 12 hallmarks had not yet been named. The counter still ticks, but for the first time, we can read it, slow it, and in a lab dish, even reverse it. That is the quiet revolution of modern longevity science. Aging is turning from an inevitability into a problem, and problems can be worked on. You cannot stop the clock today, but understanding it changes how you treat the one body you get to carry through all of it. So the real question was never just why we age. It is what we do with the years we can clearly see coming. Next time, we follow one of those levers all the way down. Why the muscle you lose after 60 may matter most of all.